Welcome back to Lifestyles of the Fit and Healthy, here where we want to keep you healthy from adolescence to obsolescence. And, you know, even if you have a healthy lifestyle, sometimes that's not enough. Sometimes you can be a healthy man or woman and still succumb to something, you know, a sudden health challenge such as a heart attack or stroke. And we're going to be talking about that in this hour of the program with Victoria Dupuis. She is the founder of No More Broken Hearts. She formed that organization after her husband died unexpectedly at age 46. He was seemingly healthy, worked out, was a normal weight, ate well, and checked all the boxes off on a healthy lifestyle. And yet there was one test, had he taken, he probably would still be here. And we want to find out about that so we can share with you what you can do to help prevent any unexpected occurrences such as this in your lives. And we welcome Victoria Dupuis to the Dr. Health microphones this morning. Good morning, Victoria. How the health are you?
Well, good morning. I am doing very, very well today.
Do you have are you on a speakerphone or something, or a headset?
I'm on a headset.
No, yeah, please, if you could get off. Thank you. Yeah. Okay.
Is that better?
Yes, very much better. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay,
so now, if I'm a young, healthy man, or even a middle-aged healthy man, normal blood pressure, ideal cholesterol levels, no history of, family history of heart disease, is it really something I need to concern myself about to know about, what to? I'm already healthy. So what else is there to know? Tell us your story as a woman. And how you became interested in men's cardiovascular health.
Well, I became interested in men's cardiovascular health when my husband, Dean, passed away of a heart attack almost 4 years ago. Like you said, he was 46 years old. He was doing everything that we've been told to do throughout our lives. He didn't smoke. He had normal blood pressure, normal cholesterol. We ate fairly well. He was very, very active. Passed his annual exam months prior, told he was healthy as an ox, and still died of a heart attack almost 4 years ago, and had heart disease for over 2 years that went completely undetected.
Now, did he have atherosclerosis, or what type of heart disease did he have?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
He had ischemia heart disease for 2+ years, which is atherosclerosis. So he had plaque burden in his arteries that went undetected because he looked fit. He passed his standard annual exam. It's the same test that we've been doing for 50 years, and flew under the radar. And when I called his doctor a couple days after he died and asked his doctor, did you miss something? And his doctor said to me, Victoria, I'm so sorry for your loss, but it's just not something we test for. It's not like getting a mammogram or a colonoscopy. Mm-hmm. And that kind of led me down a journey to understand, because I was 47 at the time. I had already had several mammograms, of course, because every year, my doctor tells me to get a mammogram. I had already had a colonoscopy because every year our doctors tell us to get colonoscopies. And so I couldn't understand why we weren't doing anything to screen early for plaque burns in our arteries, which is the disease itself, before a heart attack happens. And found that there's a simple test. It's called a coronary artery calcium scan. It's been around since the 80s. There's thousands of studies that have been done at the validity of it, identifying disease at the earliest stages so that you can actually manage it and treat it like we do all the other diseases that we do early screenings for.
Now, if you had a choice between cholesterol and triglycerides and the CACS, or the coronary artery calcium scan, wouldn't you pick this because it's getting to the early stages of heart disease instead of, say, a cholesterol test?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
First of all, right now, 77% of people, men and women that have heart attacks, have normal cholesterol. They are considered normal on the scale, okay? So if we're using cholesterol still as a benchmark and you have normal cholesterol, it does not mean that you have not developed some sort of disease in your pipe, okay? I think doing further advanced blood testing is always important. I mean, you were talking about inflammation earlier. the more advanced blood tests that can be done than what is typically done in a standard annual exam identifies greater markers than what we're currently doing. But at the end of the day, if you want to know if you have disease in your arteries, you have to look in your arteries. I mean, it's like a pipe in water.
What a concept. I mean, it's pretty common sense, but, unfortunately, people don't think of that.
Well, and unfortunately, it's a test that most of us don't know about. So, the research that I did, the cardiologists around the country that I started talking with, the other organizations that I started partnering with, a lot of this data can be found very simply online through medical websites. But we don't typically go looking for it because most of us think that we're already doing what we should be doing to prevent heart disease. And honestly, none of us are immune to it.
Right.
I live in the Bay Area, and I just took 4 people from my community to get heart scans this morning.
Wow, boy, that
was our Saturday morning.
Huh.
And in sitting talking to one of the gentlemen that I was with, he said, "Oh, by the way, I just had a friend a couple days ago that had a heart attack and had to get 4 stents, and he's only 2 years older than me."
Well, and how old is that? How old was he?
56.
Oh my gosh, that's young.
And that's the thing is the information we have today is very old school. It is not your 70-year-olds that don't exercise and smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day. It is your 45 to 55-year-olds that are active, that exercise, that they pay attention to their health, and they fly under the radar because they look great on the outside. Look at Bob Harper.
Oh, the Biggest Loser, the star.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then who's the other star? Alan Thicke.
Alan Thicke.
Yeah, yep. He was not that old either.
Playing ice hockey. He's got the same story as my husband, and that's what really led me to start No More Broken Hearts, was because as I was doing all this research, trying to gain some understanding at what happened, and in talking to people in my community, unfortunately, I found that my story is not that unique.
Wow.
That it happens every minute of every day. 2,200 people a day, men and women every day, die of cardiovascular diseases. 2,200
just in America. That's not worldwide. That's just in the U.S., right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's astonishing. I mean, when we look at the stats for mammograms and colonoscopies, we know lives have been saved. We know that there's been a reduction in deaths because of early detection. Why would we not be doing it for the heart?
Now, what's the average age of a man who suffers a heart attack? Do you have that stat?
There really isn't an average age, but just in my experience in this last 3 years of this journey of my life, it is between your 45 and your 60-year-old.
Wow, that is way too young.
Way too young.
And your husband did not have any symptoms whatsoever? He was asymptomatic? When you look back, was there any warning signs? Were there any things that...
He was completely... Matter of fact, he'd done a 6-mile Muddy Buddy race with our daughter that morning.
Oh, my gosh.
And I remember being at the finish line and the Muddy Buddy race. So you have a partner, and one runs a mile and one bikes a mile, and then you swap off. And I was at the finish line, and he had finished running, and I made a comment to him, "Wow, I'm impressed. Like, you're not even winded." I mean, he wasn't even winded after the 6-mile race.
Wow.
And he played ice hockey for 15 years, every week for 15 years.
And, well, maybe it was a combination of the stress of the event, so maybe dehydration played into that. There were maybe some other contributing factors that are underlying.
There was plaque that ruptured, but had we even known that there was plaque already building up on his arteries, he possibly could be here today. Now, I cannot say when our time is up, but we thought we were doing everything right.
Yeah.
And even though we were doing everything right, and I don't want any of your listeners to think, well, I'm already doing everything right. If I have heart disease, then I'm going to go off the Richter scale. That's not what I'm saying here. But just because we're doing everything right and what we've been told over the years we should be doing doesn't make us immune to it. We really don't know what's going on inside of our body unless you look inside your body.
Right, yeah. Okay. Victoria, we need to take a break here. We're a little past the time that we need to break. And when we come back, I want to ask you about the test itself. I know it's simple and painless and non-invasive and fairly affordable. And so, how long does it take? What's involved? And then I have an interesting article from the, let's see, where is this from? The Austrian Archaeological Institute, and this is interesting in that it's talking about, they did CT scans on mummies, and so this calcification of arteries is nothing new. It's thousands of years old that people have been, succumbing to heart disease. But there's some interesting little details that I think you'll like, as well as the audience, and then also how protecting your teeth can protect your heart as well. So we will be back with more information with Victoria Dupuy, the founder of No More Broken Hearts. We'll give out her website and information as well if you want to get in touch with her directly, and what you can do to maintain your heart health here on Dr. Health. Stick around if you want to stay healthy. Back right after this as Dr. Health Radio continues.
Hi there, health fans. Dick Allgaier here. Not a lot of really scientific health news coming out this week, but boy, have I got a report for you. Why bad air hampers your sleep. What happens to your body when you throw up after drinking? Now, I should have saved this one for the New Year's show, but New Year's Eve is 6 months away. And finally, someone did a survey to find out at what age women are most sexy. We'll tell you at what age they feel the best about sex. Coming up in the next hour of the Dr. Health Show.
Kokua, a friendly Hawaiian word that means cooperation, to help, assist, and support. And who better to help you to attain and maintain good health than Kokua Market, the co-op store that's been helping its customers do just that since 1971. Kokua Market is East Honolulu's complete natural foods destination, located in the heart of Mo'iliili at 2643 South King Street, near the corner of King and University. There you'll find all your favorite natural groceries, frozen foods, gourmet cheeses, snacks, beauty aids, food supplements, and one of the most delicious delis you've ever experienced. Plus, Kokua offers well over 100 bulk food bins. But wait, the section of the store that Kokua is most known for is its organic produce. You see, years before organic foods became popular, Kokua Market was offering certified organic produce to give their customers the power of choice. They also believe in supporting Hawaii's farmers, so you'll find lots of local organic produce there as well. Add it all up, and you have people helping people stay healthy. Kokua Market.
Experiencing any foot pain? You know you can't feel good and be happy and healthy if your feet are killing you. So don't put off your foot pain another day. Whether it's from ill-fitting shoes, your occupation, or a pre-existing condition, foot pain is your body telling you you need to do something, like stepping up and stepping into Step Ahead. Step Ahead has the arch supports, orthotically designed shoes, and most of all, the expertise you need to become pain-free again. Step Ahead's certified staff of professionals will give you a free foot analysis so you'll know exactly what you need to keep your feet happy and healthy. So whether you wear snazzy shoes with a high heel or construction shoes made with steel, Step Ahead's orthotic arch supports are customized to your particular foot to eliminate pain, strengthen your feet, and prevent future problems from occurring. 2 locations to serve you. Step Ahead in the Pearl Kai Shopping Center in Aiea and in Honolulu at 725 Kapiolani Boulevard in the Imperial Plaza. Phone 488-3338 or go to stepaheadhi.com. Step Ahead, Hawaii's arch support store.
More information equals less medication here on your health information station, at least when you're tuning us in at 9 o'clock every Saturday morning. Of course, our show does rebroadcast tonight from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m., so whether it's the 9 a.m. show or the 9 p.m. show, you'll get a double dose of good health, or if you miss any part of the show in the morning, you can always make it up in the evening. All right, back to our guest, Victoria Dupuy. This is interesting, Victoria. The heart disease, or the fact that heart disease is not just a product of our modern lifestyle. It was a global problem more than 3,000 years ago. This from Dr. Mikaela Binder, bioarchaeologist at the Austrian Archaeological Institute. And they did CT scans on mummies and found that calcification in arteries of mummies was prevalent, and people of all social categories were affected. Research suggests that bacteria related to dental diseases are an ancient cause of heart disease, and of course still prevalent today. So brush and floss, folks, and any kind of, the germs are the triggers of inflammation that negatively affects arteries. So, and let's backtrack to your husband, Victoria. And now he worked for Apple Computer, right? He's not like he was not to discount blue collar workers, but he was highly educated. He had a high status position in the company and everything. And so, he was both mentally and physically at the top of his game.
Yes, very much.
Yeah. So
very, very much. And our kids were 16 and 11 when he died. So, top of his game of being a dad as well.
Right. Now, in our over-medicated society, now you mentioned stents, but what about statins? Everybody's on a statin. That's the number one drug that there is being prescribed with Americans, and one of the most popular prescription drugs worldwide as well in first world countries. So what's your research uncovered with the use of statins?
Well, and this is where I have a really hard time, because we are a very over-medicated population. We all know that. It's a topic of discussion with a lot of people that I talk with. But again, if cholesterol is considered a risk factor for heart disease, okay, why are we not doing a CT scan to see if disease has developed? The first thing we do is we medicate. If you have high blood pressure, we know that that's a risk factor based upon the Framingham Risk Predictor Scale that was, developed 50 years ago that we're still using to identify who's at risk for heart disease and therefore heart attack or stroke. Again, we put them on blood pressure medicine. We never do a heart scan to see what's happening in the heart. There was a study done recently that a cohort of, I think it was about 2,500 statin users that they did heart scans with, and found over 50% of them had a 0 calcium score, which means they had no calcification plaque in their arteries, which means they theoretically do not need to be taking a statin, or they can at least make the choice to not take a statin.
Right. Now, did your husband?
I have a problem with statins.
Go ahead.
No, I have a problem with statins because it's the first go-to. I think that there is a place for statins, but let's check out the actual piping first.
Right.
And see what we got going on.
Yeah, you want to make the diagnosis before you treat the symptoms or doing any kind of treatment. Now, did your husband, when he was alive, did he have a treadmill test or EKG or anything like that?
He had an EKG. I think he had one treadmill test. I do know that after he passed away at the Apple Wellness Center, they had a load of men and women come and get a treadmill test.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. And matter of fact, 2 weeks after he passed away, a gentleman that he worked with had a heart attack in his sleep the night before my husband's celebration, which he was due to attend.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Oh, did he also die?
He died of a heart attack,
Oh, my gosh. Huh.
Treadmill tests, again, there's a great time that you need to have a treadmill test, but I think it's important for people to understand that it doesn't actually identify any kind of plaque burden.
Right.
Now, it will identify if you have a blockage once you get to about 60 or 70%. What a coronary artery calcium scan does is it identifies the plaque burden way before you get to a 70%.
Yeah, early diagnosis. Yeah, and now what about the people that have carotid artery scores or tests to test the amount of plaque in the carotid artery. How is that different from the coronary artery calcium scan?
Well, the carotid artery typically is an ultrasound that's done on your neck artery,
right, that's right.
right?
Yeah.
Checks the plaque burden, right? And that is to early detection for stroke. Because you have a rupture, you have blockage in your neck artery,
right.
You're at risk for a stroke. Again, it's not checking your heart arteries.
Yeah.
Just because your carotid arteries are clear does not mean that your heart arteries
That's
are
right.
clear.
Yeah.
But we are led to believe, because I just had somebody reach out to me just a couple days ago, actually, who was doing the Lifeline screening. I don't know. Do you guys have that Lifeline screening in Hawaii?
No, I don't.
It's like a mobile unit that goes around.
I don't believe so.
Okay, EKG, blood, and they do the carotid.
Is that the American Heart Association that does that? Or who does?
No, it's called, Lifeline screening.
Lifeline? No, not that I'm aware of.
And he reached out to me and said, well, I'm going to do this test. It's $149. They're going to do the carotid. And they told me that would also identify if I have plaque burden in my heart. And that is false. Carotid artery is your carotid artery.
That's right, yeah.
Your heart artery is your heart. My understanding is, through several cardiologists who are my advisors, is the plaque burden does start in the heart, it moves to the neck, and then it moves to the leg.
Oh, interesting. So if you had intermittent claudication, then that's maybe the end stages of, I mean, you're already blocked in other areas by the time you have symptoms in your legs, maybe. Yeah.
Exactly. And I had somebody in my community whose mother had symptoms in her leg, and she ended up having a stroke and a stent put in.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
And why was her heart and her neck not? It just doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm. And I think that also, Victoria, that people that have stents or are on statins, the doctor puts them on prescription drugs, they have a false sense of security. Oh, I'm taking a statin, or I've had a stent, so my risk goes way, way down. But as you mentioned earlier in the program, and just repeat that, we want people to really have that reinforced in their minds that a stent. Tell us exactly what it does, so that people are clear about that.
A stent opens up the artery, right? So it's like a little metal mesh that gets inserted into the artery and opens it up.
It doesn't necessarily prevent the next heart attack.
Exactly. I mean, so 735,000 men and women have heart attacks every year. 525,000 of them are first-time heart attacks, and 210,000 every year are second heart attacks.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Huh. Kind of like divorces. People get married, and anyway, that's another program. Now,
and again, it is a perception that we've been led to believe that the stent does not reduce the disease. The stent does not actually even stop the progression.
Right. If people don't change their lifestyle, yeah.
Exactly. And don't get me wrong either. I mean, statins have a place, but I don't think that they need to be the first go-to if we're not doing other investigative looking in our body.
Yeah, right. Okay, now we only have a few minutes left, so let's get into some of the causes. There's stress, that's a big one. Smoking, of course, sedentary life. But as you mentioned, that it doesn't necessarily...
Genetics.
Yeah, genetics, right, other risk factors, yeah. Sugar or, high blood sugar, pre-diabetes, things like that. And then women, let's even though we're talking about men because it's June is Men's Health Month, more women die of heart disease than breast cancer, and yet it's not on the radar as much as it is with female reproductive diseases or other things that are gender specific. But really the biggest killer is cardiovascular disease when it comes right down to it. Now,
it is. I mean, it's always been positioned as a man's disease, but more women die of it than men do.
Yeah. And let's just close with some of the top 10. What are some of the other top 10 tests your doctor is not ordering?
I think one of the other one is the more advanced lab work.
Okay.
Inflammation markers, lipoprotein A, the LP little a,
A1C,
advanced,
Okay.
The ACE, what is it? The CRP.
Yeah, CRP, right.
And those are just, people can ask for those more advanced labs.
Right. And by the way, I saw in your information that you sent me, you mentioned Dr. Matthew Budoff. He's been a guest on the show here. He's an excellent cardiologist from UCLA. I just hats off to him for all the research he's done. Well, hats off to you for all the research you've done. Give us a website that people can get in touch with you and find out more information about what you do.
NoMoreBrokenHearts.info.
NoMoreBrokenHearts.info. Okay.
And they can like us on Facebook at No More Broken Hearts 2014, and they can personally reach out to me on both those.
Great. All right. Well, thanks so much for being with us, Victoria. All the best.
Thank you so much, David. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
We really appreciate you. Thank you. Okay. There goes Victoria Dupuy, the founder of No More Broken Hearts. And here we go, but we'll be back for hour number 2 after the top of the hour Fox News with more information for your good health as we talk about botanical medicine with health expert Steve Fraley in the studio. Back after this, so don't go anywhere if you want to stay healthy.